Up, Spoonin family, how y'all doing? We are here. I am with a guest this week, even though I said I'd be solo, and it is your new Fun Belt leader, the Rollbacks.
What's going on, little spoon?
Just spooning, that's all. You're
I
spooning
love
with
it,
me.
man. Yeah, you're supposed to spin by yourself, and then I got a text at work, and I was like, you know what? I'll spin with you.
Dude, I
Um,
appreciate that. I didn't
yeah,
even want to ask you because you've already done this a couple times, but we have some unwilling participants. So,
it's kind of sad when almost half the league has not spooned with a little spoon. Um, that has to change, especially when two of those teams are pretty much playoff teams,
yeah.
potentially. Maybe one, but yeah, it's sad to see, man. I don't like it.
Yeah, well, hopefully that changes. I'm gonna make sure that this is posted in the league chat real quick. And one second. All right, so it says we're live, but I don't see it on our YouTube channel. Is there any way you could check our YouTube channel and maybe post the link
Yeah,
if it's there?
I can do that.
It is. It's not popping up for me on the app here. Jake told me that I just need to trust technology, but I don't want to get all the way through this in vain.
Looks like we're live, Nick.
We are live.
Yeah, we are live on
Channel.
the internet, so that is cool.
It's just you're able to see that on our YouTube channel.
I can.
Could you post that link in the chat for people to join?
I can do that as well.
Shouldn't be to you. It's just not showing on my end, so I'm sorry about that.
They will now know who the guest is.
It's okay. All three people will be shocked.
Alrighty. She is posted.
Cool. All right, so let's get into it. So big week here. Let's talk about you first, since you're the guest. So you went from the whole season. You were the last in our division, and you're finally the leader of the Fun Belt. What does that feel like? I mean, especially, and don't say, there's a lot of work to be done. Don't say any of that Josh crap. Like, how does it actually feel to have risen from the bottom to at least,
You know,
I know it's not finished, but like to at least be able to say you're the division leader?
yeah, job is not finished, but
We
we
know.
came a long way. 1-7, to 14-10. Who would have guessed it?
Wow.
Not I. I love my draft. Looking back at it now, I really hate my draft. I had one of the worst drafts in the league. Not by name, but just by pure talent.
Yeah.
I made some really dumb moves to start the year, and switch gears. Made a few really good moves that put me in a place to succeed. And I do feel like the team that I have kind of core-shaded within myself is going to be one of my best teams leading into the playoffs if I get there. So I'm full of pride. I will say that. I know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love to see that Cheney's missing out on this playoff run. It don't surprise me, but I do love the front runners for this. Is on his division side, it's going to be Kyle and Garrett. You gotta love it. So yeah, man. 1-7 to 14-10. Just gotta be happy to be here.
No, for sure. And you've made a few moves. You've made a few moves that haven't even come to fruition yet. Well, you made a move for O'Marion Hampton, but you never even got to see the fruit of that as you just traded him for Christian McCaffrey. This had to have been, well, obviously it is because the trade deadline has passed, but this had to have been the nail in the coffin as far as solidifying you as the front runner to go ahead and just take this. And what I like about that move, man, is like you didn't have to make that move, but I see that you're not resting on your laurels. You're not resting on like, okay, I'm one of the teams. Like you were a playoff team when you made that move. But just kind of tell me how did that move materialize and what was your mindset in saying like, I'm definitely going to do this? Because you traded Rushy Rice, which is a huge piece.
Yeah, Rasheed Rice let him go. It kind of hurt me, but I was looking at week 12 and 13 and what to like for me. Knowing week 14, I would already have Rico and Talon by. So I didn't have the bench pieces to put together
Yep.
a good roster. So I just looked at it as, hey, let's just take a dud on week 14. I love my week 12 matchup, nothing against you, but just from the
No,
guys that
no,
I
for
had
sure.
playing, you had playing, I feel like I can go 2-0 pretty easily. Um, I didn't like Jonas, so I had a good feeling he would go 1-1. And then if I just go 2-0 against him, that would pretty much solidify me um, the division. So that's how I looked at it.
Yeah,
So
no, I
getting a player like CMC who's going to be a 25 or better a week guy, almost guarantee it. It was worth the bullet. So I went ahead and traded Hampton, who we don't know, and then obviously Rasheed Rice, who actually outscored CMC this week.
yeah, yeah. I think it's a good move because McCaffrey's not even having a great year running the ball. Like that's been noted, but he's still getting that receiving work. He's still getting those goal line opportunities, like we saw against Carolina. Um,
So, so I saw a
but
stat today. He has the most receptions and the most carries in the league.
that's great. Most receptions
Most
as a
receptions.
running
He
back.
has one more than
Wow,
Puka. Yep.
that's crazy. And Puka, you I'm pretty sure you still have Puka, right?
I do, and that one hurt me. Um, that's the
Yeah,
one trade. If
he's
I can
not
go
playing
back and
great,
undo, I would undo it.
really.
Jameer Gibbs. I mean, I get Jameer Gibbs. Dude put up a 60 piece. Like that's
Yeah,
that's hard to see.
yeah.
So
I don't see Puka putting up 60. I see him
nope.
maybe 40, you know, maybe even 50, but not 60.
Yeah, that offense, man. When they get to the 5 yard line or within, it's Devontae Adams. That's the guy.
Yeah, I think I think when you look at trades, you're like, well, I want a balanced roster, but like with a guy like Jameer Gibbs, you can lose that trade on the wide receiver part of it and be just fine. Like you can take on Jameer Gibbs and give away a good receiver. You're still getting more points with Jameer Gibbs on your roster than you would with a normal running back and a normal wide receiver. But I love your team, man. I think just I, when I think about your team, I was playing you this week, and I had obviously no aspirations of winning this matchup. Um, so I was kind of interested just to see the point dispersion between your players, and like even like having a guy like Tet. Tet went for like 30 something last week. Um, but just to have Tet and Olave as like your number two and number three guys, I think is just you can kind of invoke confidence into your roster, man. Like you don't really have to worry about much, and you have CMC and Puka as your main guys. So um, I love it, man.
Heading home strong to the finish line. Hopefully, we'll see what this week gives me in week 14 as well.
Well, Spoonin family, let's look into what happened in week 12 because even though the rollbacks are a huge story, they're not the only story. So we're going to shift gears here. Um, we're going to look at, let's take a look at Garrett, man. I think we should. He was the highest scorer on the week. He was playing Cheney, who really had a bounce back week. Cheney had like probably 3 down weeks in a row, and his team put up 151. Genty had a big game, um, but Garrett, man, he just kind of put the throttle on full blast. Pickens, man, who would have guessed that Pickens would be the wide receiver two in fantasy? And I think it's clear to say he won that trade with Jake with the Brock Bowers trade.
Easily. Um, I agree with you. I know we have a group chat that you're not in. It's the board, and I don't know why you're not. You should be in it, but you're not.
I'm not part of the board. I've never made the
Yeah,
playoffs, so
so you should be in it maybe next year. But there was a statement that Cheney made that said, "Yes, Garrett, you do own me. Um, you are now my daddy." or something like that. So
Cheney said that to Garrett
he did,
willingly.
willingly. He had it in bold too. So
Oh, nice. Did he put the
yeah,
special text effects on it too, like with the popping letters and stuff, or was it just
see in
full?
Snapchat, I don't know if you can do that.
Oh,
So
Snapchat. Okay, okay.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it's in
but
Snapchat. I got you.
yeah, but yeah, Garrett is now 6-3 against Garrett or Cheney. So that's a cool stat.
Well, let's talk about Garrett a little bit. Derrick Henry, he had 2 touchdowns. Obviously, Pickens had a big week. Pickens, I made a trade, the league I managed for CD Lamb, like 2 weeks ago, and really CD Lamb is looking like the number two wide receiver there, which I don't think anyone would have predicted. I'm sure other people, I'm sure everybody, especially as a Steelers fan, like everybody probably anticipated a spike in George Pickens' production with Dak at quarterback. But to say that he possibly would overtake CD as the number one in that offense and be the number two wide receiver in fantasy football and only two more weeks in the regular season left, I don't think anybody would have guessed that. But that trade for ETN was a really good trade where he traded Kamara. Kamara has since sprained his MCL and is like 40 years old, so or at least plays like he's 40. So
Yep.
man, Garrett's looking strong going into the playoffs, man.
Yeah, he's a guy that I definitely want to avoid. Um, Actually, it's going to be how I see it. Garrett's going to have that bye. After this performance, he deserves it. When the dude picked up Brissett,
That's
Brissett
crazy.
showed
Garrett's gonna
out.
get a bye.
Yeah, I mean, this dude is on like a 6 game win streak, I think, maybe an 8 game.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but yeah, Garrett's team top to bottom is filled out. He has guys to fill in. Um, Dude's not hurting.
No. I will say this because this is a podcast of truth, and regardless of what people think, people think I take shots or leave certain people out on purpose. The Little Spoon does not do that at all. He just calls it for what it is. Sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. Especially with Adam. I invited Adam to do a Settle the Beef episode, and he had plans. But hopefully we can get him on here and we can settle the beef. Really, I have no beef with Adam. I have no beef with Adam. The only thing about Adam is I've just made several observations. And those observations are that when JT and Jamar, they've had some down weeks. He's had some very opportune plays from free agency or whatever, um, like Colston Loveland, Caleb Williams, who traditionally have sucked. Trust me, they were my team for most of the year. And, you pick up an Eric Wilson this week. So let's actually migrate to Adam's matchup. So Mechie's Mulligans, he did, correct me if I'm wrong, on my computer view, it's not showing the median. He did miss the median this week, correct?
He did.
Okay. So the guys on his roster, I mean, JT has a rough schedule to finish out the year. He's playing some tough defenses. I called it last week. Well, Anthony was on the podcast that the Chiefs were going to stuff him, and they did. But he spends like 400 something fab on Emmanuel Wilson, gets almost 30 points from him. And he does have guys like Jacoby Myers and Zay Flowers who are going to give you 10 to 15 points every week, but they're not going to give you anything more than that. Um, but if you don't have Emmanuel Wilson this week, which was a fab pickup, you can subtract about 25 from that score, and he loses this matchup.
Yep. If you look at Adams' points allowed this year, it is the lowest points allowed by a pretty big margin.
Wow.
He has had some cupcake games, and he has had a lot of finishes at number 6, number 5 from the median. So his record, 19-5, looks good. I'm just curious what it'd be if he had my record. So not my
Curious if he
record,
had,
my
or your
schedule.
schedule?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, and you clearly have the highest points allowed, maybe in league history, actually. It's been a wild year. But no, and anything I've said, I mean, Adam obviously has a better team than I and a better team than most of the league. It's just when you have Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, if one of those guys doesn't have a big week, I think Adam is vulnerable, and you can't rely on some of these opportune waiver pickups that he's had, which first of all, I'm not taking anything away from Adam. He made those moves. He went out, he picked those players up and put them in, and like those are great moves on his part. They're savvy and smart. Um, but I'm just saying that's not a statistic that I see as super replicable going into the playoffs, and that's the only point I want to bring up about him. So
Yeah, no, I agree. Top to bottom, Adams' team is not all that filled out. He has two powerhouses, in Chase and JT. He has a
right,
quarterback, but he's been streaming a tight end all year in a tight end premium year, and I think every week he's had a touchdown from his tight end.
yeah,
So he's
and he
been
might have
getting.
Kincaid coming back
He might, but there again in this format, Kincaid's honestly a stream. He don't see a lot of targets. He just gets that touchdown
for sure,
voltage. So
for sure.
um, top to bottom, Garrett has a better team than Adam, and they're only four games apart.
Yeah. 1 second, I'm gonna message in the league chat.
But yeah, I mean, your team name is Messi and Mulligans. Messi is now the one, and you don't have him on your team. That's
No,
it's a little hard.
yeah. Um, I can't believe that he didn't go and get him. Now that he's finally popping off. Now I will say, Mechie was his eighth round pick, right? And regardless of how things have
Yep.
shaped out, obviously not a great pick. But I picked Joe Mixon in my eighth round pick. Clearly, Mechie would have been the better hold there, right? So he
I,
made a better pick than me. It's just hindsight's 2020. Um, but it's still he should have Mechie on his roster, and too bad the trade deadline's over because I think
he
you should
should.
send a haul for him. But I will say with Jamar Chase coming back from suspension and Joe Burrow coming back, I think look out because I don't think they're going to sit either Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase, even if the Bengals have a bad record. I think they're going to go for it. They've just had too many years like this where I think they're in screw it mode and they're just going to go out there and play ball. So I think Adams still has a dangerous team because he still has Kyron Williams as his RB2 along with those other guys. And Jalen Hurts just is so solid week to week. I hate Jalen Hurts so much. Like I hate watching him play. I hate playing against him because I never have him on my team. And if I play against him, he just gets tush pushed into the end zone. And it's just a frustrating player to watch, in my opinion. But he's frustrating because he's so good. Um, so I would say Frankie's squad with where he's at in the division. I mean, he's pretty much out of it just because of the division he's in. Um, and yeah, and then Kyle. I think Kyle's the other notable team to bring up. Kyle's another guy. I think Kyle's team is, Josh, very much like Adam's team. Aside from a couple guys, this team doesn't really scare you. He does get Joe Burrow in that trade with me, which I think significantly upgrades his quarterback position, especially with the Baker Mayfield injury. Um, but you have Jahmyr Gibbs and Josh Jacobs as your bell cows. You're scared of them, and you're clearly scared of Jahmyr Gibbs after that 60 piece. But you're not scared of Xavier Worthy. You're not scared of Stephon Diggs. You're not scared of whatever wide receiver three plug and play waiver wire pickup he has for the week. Um, so really, I look at Kyle's team, and as he's fighting in that division still, even if he does get a wild card matchup, you're really banking on Jahmyr Gibbs going crazy like that. And I'm sorry, but 60 is not going to happen every week. And I might be eating my words next week because Jahmyr Gibbs is that dude, and he might do it again. But yeah, I'd bet against it.
Yeah, I don't see 60 being a common thing around here for the Lions. Like to use all of their guys. I mean, JMO had a 0 dud, so I don't think that happens again. I think the coach likes JMO. The OC does too. They get him involved. David Montgomery, Knuckles, they like him. Dude only had 5 carries.
Yeah,
I think he gets going end of season. They try to save Jameer for the playoffs, maybe.
that's a
Um,
good call.
so,
I dig it.
and that brings to your other hunt, Pent. If you don't start Montgomery, he's going to have that 30-point game. So,
As soon as you bench him, yeah,
as soon as you bench him, that's what he does. So, yeah,
for sure.
Kyle's team doesn't scare me. Even before Gibbs, he had Puka. And Puka did the same thing. Puka would have a 25, 28, 35 point week, and he would give Kyle the win, and then Kyle traded Puka for Gibbs, and now Gibbs doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
it's just a common thing for Kyle all year.
No, and yeah, yeah. But like I said, I wish I had a guy like Gibbs on my team. So, um, and Jacobs. The thing is, handcuff hater is such a perfect name for him. He should have had Emmanuel Wilson, and I think he did have Emmanuel Wilson at some point and dropped him. Um, but then Adam picks him up. Adam should change his name to the garbage man because Adam goes and picks up everybody's trash, and then he finds a diamond, and that should be Adam's team name this year.
That is what
But
he does. That is what he does.
all right, so I know he's watching. He's rewatching this once he clicks on the stream and once he's done drinking margaritas in the Bahamas. But let's talk about the guy who just keeps getting lucky. Let's go to Mossad. He beats Randy's nuts by 1 point, and I'm pretty sure I don't have the median in front of me because I'm on my laptop view. Pretty sure he beats the median by maybe 2 points, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
I have a good memory. All right. This is not the first time this has happened this year, Josh. I'm pretty sure this has to be at least the third time that he's squeaked the median by like a point or two. So you have to look at Jake's team here, and I think there are several trades that have hurt him. Well, Judkins had a decent week, but Jefferson is just man.
No
He's
bueno.
no blame. I mean, it's not Jefferson's fault. Obviously, he's playing with non-NFL quarterbacks, but man, like to trade a guy like HM, and it's just it stinks for Jake, but he squeaked it out this week. I just think it significantly weakens his roster. Um, but he had JSN put up 40 again. Um, just like Forrest Gump says, he met the president again.
Mm-hmm.
You got Brock Bowers putting up a solid 14 points. Tyler Warren putting up his 12. So you have guys for Jake that are consistent and who are going to put up points. Kenneth Walker has seemed like he's put some semblance of a career back together. What do you think about Jake's team moving forward? And he does have RJ Harvey coming back, who should be the undisputed bell cow in that offense. J.K. Dobbins gone. He has Drake London, who's doubtful, who they may not bring back for a while. So he loses a key piece with London. Sutton hasn't been that dude as Troy Franklin has gotten more targets in that Denver offense. So where do you see the state of Jake's team after a dominant year as he sits at number one overall?
Yeah, so Jake's on the year number one. He has the most points scored in the league. So he has definitely crafted a good team. Now, is this the best team he's had all year? Absolutely not. I don't think it's on him. I think he took upside in some names, how they performed, but it wasn't like he bought them low. Like he bought them
No.
at value of them performing good. So why that was, I'm not sure. I think he just got a little antsy. Maybe he likes their playoff schedule. I'm not sure. I really talked to him about it. But yeah, like you said, Jake has some guys coming back. London will be back for him. Sutton was on bye. He'll be back. He has RJ Harvey coming back. So he has some guys who are going to perform for him. And like I said, I think Jake's, if not the second, probably the highest odds to win this thing.
Jake made a comment. That while I was on the podcast with Anthony, that I was basically saying that he doesn't hang on to his guys, and the main guys on his roster aren't guys he drafted. I never said that. He clearly still has a lot of his boys that he's held tight to, and that's not something Jake's ever been known for. Is Jake, when he believes in a player, he hangs on to them usually. He's hung on to the Tyjae Spears and the Keaton Mitchells over the years. Those are guys that he rosters. He's rostered over the last couple of years, and he
Yeah.
hangs on to. And he's obviously kept most of his main guys. I was just making a point to Anthony that he has made some high upside trades that I think at the time were in his winning favor. It's just the way that the team, actual NFL team concept for that player has played out over the year has led to Jake technically losing the trade. But I think every trade that Jake has made, he has won that trade at the time. And I think anybody would have made that deal like the Jefferson and the Judkins deal for HN. I would have made that deal in a heartbeat.
Right.
It's just,
Yeah.
hindsight's 2020.
I think with Achan, Jake's worried about his playoff run, and if Achan goes down, who's the guy? Is it Ollie? Is it not?
Ollie,
Um, and what is Ollie in that offense? No one really knows, but they do know what Samson can be, and Samson can be a dog with the
true.
Browns because he's gonna get a lot of
With
targets.
Shadur, baby.
Exactly. So if Judkins goes down, you still got to play with running back, and then you also get a receiver on top of that, Jefferson. Now, like I said, it is Justin Jefferson, but you would think he has to turn it on eventually, or he's gonna get pissed. Like he is already frustrated. So I think
He's
he
so
he
pissed.
starts he starts getting, I mean, at least 14, 15 fantasy points a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I think something has to give. And he's too talented to keep in a cage. He's like a tiger, man. Like you can't keep a tiger in a cage. You got to let him out. And he's clearly frustrated on the sidelines. And I wouldn't be surprised, JJ McCarthy's in concussion protocol. I wouldn't be surprised if he's really being de facto benched. And they're seeing what they have in that other rookie. I think his name's like Max Brosman or something like that. Um,
It can't be any
but
worse.
JJ's so bad. Um,
Cannot be any worse.
no.
I actually have
The other
Jefferson in
JJ.
a lot of our a lot of best ball leagues. Him and I did the Jefferson and JJ stack. Terrible, terrible. But
Oh,
yeah, just a little. It is what it is. But yeah, Jefferson. Um, like I said, I think he's still the best receiver in the league.
oh, by
Just
far.
just
I think
not.
he's better than Chase. I think he's better than Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has like in the media, he's overtaken Jefferson
Right.
because of his big year last year. As far as being a wide receiver, running routes, the whole package, Jefferson's the guy.
It's Jefferson, 100%.
I'm glad we agree. Well, that was my take on last week's matchups. I don't think getting into the rest of the nitty gritty, that I think those were the biggest implications as far as the playoffs go. Just for the listeners, let's review the league standings as they stand. So you have the SWAC, you have 20-7, the Mossad, aka Jake, aka our league dictator, at 19-5, tied with Adam, but leading Adam because of points scored at 19-5 as well. You have Frankie Squad at 12-12. You have Randy at 3-21, a proud 3-21. You have in the Fun Belt finally the rollbacks taking charge at 14-10 after a 1-7 start, if I'm not mistaken, right? Um, you have Jonah at 13-11. You have Patrick still trying to make a push here. Patrick does not have a bad team by any means, 10-14. I'm sitting there at the bottom at 9-15 as the sad little spoon. You have Garrett, top of the UFL, 15-9. You have Kyle, 13-11. You have Slim Cheney at 10-14. And you have Zach at 7-17. So let's move forward to this week's matchups. Obviously, trade deadline has passed, and that's for you, Adam. I thought Adam was joking with the trade deadline ask. I think that was a joke, right?
No, I don't think so. I think he was actually curious on what that looked like. Maybe he wanted Mechie. I don't know.
Maybe he wanted Mechie. Maybe he was trying to get Kenneth Gainwell from me. You never know. You never know. All right. Week 13, baby. Before we hit to week 13, have you ever been to a fair? I have. I have a goldfish at my house that I've had for the last 3 years, and we only feed him high protein fish food. So we have Tetra goldfish flakes. They're vitamin C and enriched flakes. So if you're ever considering getting a goldfish, they do live longer than what the average population would tell you. They can actually live upwards of 20 to 30 years, and our fish has been going strong for the last three, in large part due to Tetra. Tetra is completely organic. I actually don't know that. It just sounded cool to say. But yeah, Tetra. If you're looking to have a goldfish and not have to deal with a dog or a cat and pick up cat hair, dog hair, get a goldfish. All right.
Roll
On
Tide.
to yeah, roll tide, baby. I say War Eagle. I'm wearing War Eagle colors today. Um, just joking. I don't like either team. All right. Let's see the matchups that matter. All right. So you do have a big UFL matchup between Garrett and handcuff hater. What do you think about this matchup?
This we will know a lot after this matchup. I think this is the one division that's still up in the airs. That and the Fun Belt. So I think Garrett can solidify what he has going with a 2-0 week. I'll call it what it is. But I also think Kyle could really give himself a fighting chance week 14 if he can overcome the Jokers. So it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, you have Jackson Dart coming back, revitalized offense in New York. I think it's really hard if you're New York to take Jameis Winston out of the starting lineup. You know, he flashed as a quarterback and a wide receiver this last week. I don't know if you saw that play where Jameis Winston
That was
caught that
awesome.
that dig route and took it and
Yeah,
spun, and that was insane.
I was in Mississippi when that happened. So I was driving the way home, and it was pretty good.
Were you
So
able to stop by and see Slim in Mississippi?
he's a little more south than I was,
I
so
gotcha.
I didn't get down there. But
Well, we're looking at this matchup. You have Jahmyr Gibbs on Kyle's side. He plays Green Bay. Green Bay has been decently good at stopping the run. I think they've been a little more careless the last few matchups, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have Josh Jacobs playing the Detroit Lions, which the Detroit Lions just led a pretty good output to Tyrone Tracy for the Giants last week. So maybe Josh Jacobs has a good game against Detroit. But if you're Kyle, your only calling card to win this game is if Gibbs and Jacobs can at least have. They can't even just have good games. They have to have really good games against really good defenses. Which I think just because of those matchups alone, I'm gonna give I'm gonna give the nod to Garrett's team because Garrett's team just has so many spots where he can hit you from. He does have Joe Burrow coming back. I just don't think that's going to be enough to take down a Derrick Henry, a Chase Brown, a George Pickens, an Egbuka, a Waddle coming back, um, a ETN in your flex. I'm just not seeing it. I don't know if you're seeing anything else, but
no,
that's my take.
I'm seeing if Gibbs and Jacobs don't go for at least 55. I think
Dang,
yeah, I
55
could get
combined.
combined. Yeah, I think it's Garrett's. Garrett has Michael Wilson on the bench, so um, if Marv, if he's not playing, he can throw him in and have an excellent start there too. So he has multiple options.
Yeah, yeah.
Kyle would start any of those guys in a heartbeat. And
He
just by
does have
saying that,
Kittle. Yeah.
and just by saying that, I think this week goes to Garrett. I think Garrett solidifies the division and solidifies the bye.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope Kyle updates his roster. I would throw a Tyrone Tracy in the flex, and if Mark plays, obviously, which I think he would switch out for, maybe I don't know. Parker Washington's been playing well. I would take maybe Xavier Worthy out and play a Marv, um, or a Diggs. I don't know, but I don't think it's inconceivable that Kyle could win this game because you can't just look at the rushing, the run defense for Green Bay with Gibbs because Gibbs can hurt you as a receiver too. Gibbs is not just your traditional running back. So it's entirely possible that Gibbs is on a heater and plays well. So I don't think this is just a complete blowout when Garrett's in, but it has a potential to be. Um,
The issue I'm seeing here is the Ravens and Bengals always have a high scoring game. They always do. And if you're
True.
telling me Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow's best playing, and this dude has Henry and Chase Brown,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
going
they
to be
could
a high matchup.
outscore Gibbs and Jacobs. So,
No, that's a solid take, man.
um,
I agree with that. All right, and then basically, if Garrett wins this week, that's the division.
that is the division.
Yep. So big
Put
one,
a
big
stamp
one.
on it.
I will say, Kyle, I'm still rooting for you. It doesn't mean I'm not rooting for you, man. Especially with that Burrow ad, you're very much you're well more suited to have Burrow on your roster than I. So I'm glad I could help out a little bit.
Oh,
Um,
out of pure love here, I want Kyle to win because that gives me a chance. So,
yeah.
I'm a Kyle root over here, dude.
So you're thinking in terms of, okay, what if something wonky happens within your own division and you need a wild card berth, right?
Right.
Okay, okay, I see.
Or even for the bye. Because I got to outdo Garrett for the bye. So if Kyle can, get a win over Garrett, that's 1-1. And that puts me with Garrett, and I have the head to head on him. So that means it
Yeah,
comes down to week 14. So Kyle could really do me some good here.
yeah, yeah. Well, he has it in him. He has done it before. All right. So moving forward to our marquee matchup, you got the battle of the number ones. You got the Mossad and Mechie's Mulligans. What are you seeing here,
Hmm.
Joshy?
Yeah. So London's not playing. That is
No.
confirmed. But
Is it confirmed?
it is. He's
Okay.
doubtful, but I don't see him going out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Especially at
I just
like
don't see
three
it.
and or 4-8 or whatever.
Right. JT's got a tough defense. Saw it last week with Josh Allen, man. They lit him up. I know Cook got a good run. Other than that, he was pretty held into nothing too. So if I had to say what I'm seeing here, it's going to be 20-7 on the Messiah taking this win.
Okay. You do have Jamar playing Baltimore, like you said, and that's not going to be a low scoring game, especially with
No,
those defenses.
no,
Um,
absolutely. Like I said,
Jamar coming off a suspension, that's a pissed off Jamar Chase.
it is. So is Jamar Chase your fire pick, Nick? That's what you're saying.
He's my fire pick, man.
He's your fire pick. I love it.
He's my fire pick, and I will backtrack too. Joe Burrow is my fire pick for that previous matchup we discussed. Because you can see, dude, I love Joe Burrow. I'm a Steelers fan, and you're not supposed to love the teams in your own division. I enjoy watching the Bengals play when they're at full strength. I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I actually like T. Higgins just personally more than Jamar Chase. I'm not saying he's a better receiver, but I like T. Higgins as a talent, and um, I
And
like that
he's
he's not a complete diva like Jamar Chase
yeah,
sometimes.
and he's out for this week due to concussion
He
protocol.
is, he is, and
So
that does
that
hurt
being
this.
said, that could make it interesting.
So
And Chase could go
also,
for 40.
but he could also be double teamed because the Ravens have had a revitalized defense and a healthier defense. And they've been playing a lot better. So that could just be an excuse for them to double team Jamar Chase and not let him do anything. We've seen that happen before. Um, I will say he's still my fire pick because I think football is an emotional game, Josh. I don't think you can just look at the X's and O's. There's emotion and momentum that's involved. Joe Burrow is coming off not playing for like the last 11, 12 weeks.
Hmm.
And he's in this position every single year. At this same time of year, he has to be fed up with it. He's going to come out and ball. And Jamar Chase is his best friend from college. So I think they light it up. So I think that does make it hard for the Mossad. But if you're looking at the Mossad here, you have Justin Jefferson. He's going to probably be shadowed by Devin Witherspoon from the Seattle Seahawks. And there's aside from Jordan Addison, and like there's really not a quarterback in Minnesota to throw Jefferson the ball. Um, I don't see much happening there. Obviously, JSN is going to eat. He's going to give you at least 20. Cortland Sutton, is he going to regain that wide receiver one role, or is Troy Franklin going to keep stepping forward? Is the question. Um, but you do have those two tight ends with this tight end premium with Bowers and Warren, so maybe one of those guys pop off. But the more I look at it, Josh, I think it's a close matchup. I think it's a close matchup. I do think JT has a hard time against Houston. Um, oh man, this is actually I think a close game. I
Yeah,
think it's a
I'm giving it a second look. I'm not gonna lie with you, man. It's going to be closer than I thought. Just matchup based poorly, and him having London out. That's going to be huge for Adam.
You know what? Since I keep getting accused, I'm gonna go Mechie's Mulligans. I'm gonna go Mechie's
Do it,
Mulligans.
do
I'm
it.
not. I'm not gonna fade Adam, and I'm not just saying that to get under Jake's skin as much as I'd love to do that. I'm gonna go Adam confidently. I think as Jamar Chase is my fire pick, like I said, and who knows? Jonathan Taylor has had an MVP type year. Um, Maybe he just shines against Houston's defense. They really went after Josh Allen. So maybe Houston's defense really goes after Daniel Jones, and that leaves a lot of checkdowns and opportunities for JT. And you have Jalen Hurts, who's going to ball out against Chicago. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Actually, I'm gonna go Mechie's Mulligans by a healthy margin by 10. 10 points.
I love it. I love it.
Let's
Well,
go.
whether win, lose, or draw, this will be your matchup for Week 16 as well on the upper bracket. So whatever
Oh, no
happens,
matter what.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's going to be whoever gets the bye, and then obviously the fourth seed.
Gotcha.
So they're going to see each other again. So
This will not be. This is just the first of many. Uh,
yep,
all right.
they will battle again.
All right. So I hate to do this to people, but I am going to go over the matchups that really matter. Because really there's a lot of teams vying for that consolation prize. Myself, Cheney, Zach. I'd throw. I'm not going to throw the honeybees in there yet because the honeybees at 12-12 still has a chance technically. Um, but I think going over these playoff teams is probably the most crucial. So you have you and
Yes.
I mean we have another division game here. We have you and the Cougar catchers, man. How you feeling about this? I mean, you're a heavy favorite.
Per projection, right? But what what is a sleeper projection nowadays? We don't
Right,
know.
right.
All over the place. Like Josh down at 23 at Pitt, he could have 40 or four. Like I mean, there's no telling. And Jonah's team, Hampton showing 12, Duke could have 30. If
If
they
he
really want to
plays,
defeat him, if he plays, right? So
they could play Vidal.
he could. The thing that I love to see when I'm looking at a team are their receivers. And I look across the board and I see Trey Tucker, Jerry Judy, and then Trey Benson the flex. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah,
Um,
you gotta be.
so yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. So yeah, like I said, if I had it my way, I would have flexed to play Garrett because I really do think this is honestly going to be a cupcake week for me. But it is what it
Yeah,
is.
I don't
So
think
all I
that's a
can do is
cocky.
go 2-0.
I don't think that's a cocky thing to say, because it should be different if this was a week from now. And let's say if we can time travel into the future, and Hampton already had another week under his belt, they're not gonna give Hampton 80% of snaps coming off that ankle injury, especially being such a high draft pick, especially since they have such huge playoff hopes. And Vidal has been a steady force there in the backfield. So I don't see
Yes.
even if Hampton comes back, I bet honestly, if you want to win this game, if you're Jonah, you hope Hampton misses. So you know you have Vidal to throw in there, and he'll get at least 100% of the work. So I think if you're you hope Hampton plays and gets about 50% of the work, and then you have Achan playing New Orleans, which is no slouch. You have Rice playing tomorrow against Dallas, which is no slouch. But like you said, you look at the rest of his roster. Gadsden could definitely have a big game. I think Gadsden's the real deal. I have good vibes from Gadsden. I think he's kind of like, I don't know, dare I say, like an Antonio Gates
Hmm.
type guy, late round guy. Even though Antonio Gates was, I think,
There you go.
undrafted, playing for that same team, that same franchise. So um, yeah, I still think this is you by a healthy margin, because I think the odds of an Achan or a Rice, shouldering the load and making up for a Trey Tucker and a Jerry Judy, and a Hampton who's coming back from injury. And as much as Jonah likes him, Herbert's not that great. He's
He's
not that
not.
great. Jonah thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread. When you talk to him, I think he has that and I love Jonah's confidence in life in general. But Herbert's not that dude. Um,
No, he is not. And he valued Hubbard higher than Josh Allen a few times for a few trade offers.
it's
So
crazy.
yeah. So Nick, I have a question for you about my team.
Yes, sir.
So you saw what Rico sent out about the coach, right? He sent an emoji. It was kind
No,
of
I
like
didn't.
a wowzer emoji. Who
No,
got
what
six
happened
carries? So yeah, so he tweeted out an emoji after the game at
after
six
the game? Okay,
carries. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and when he gets 10 carries or more, the Panthers are 5-1, right?
Wow, wow.
So they gave him like 7 touches to Chuba's 7 touches. So if
Yeah,
you were me this week, would you start Devin Neal in your RB2 spot if Kamara misses, and then start Mooney in your flex and just sit Rico?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't do
No.
that. Devin Neal, from the words of the Mossad himself, is one of the slowest individuals on planet Earth, not just the NFL. Um, you could probably. You could probably beat him fast walking when he's at full speed. Um, I wouldn't do that because maybe they give. I don't think that emoji means much, man. I think if anything, the coach is like, "No, you're right, bro." Like, and
Think
gives him
so?
the soup, gives him like that diva wide receiver treatment, the squeaky wheel treatment, and um, gives him that bag. So yeah, I think I would not make that decision. But then again,
I will listen to you.
if you scroll down to the standings, I don't know if you want to take the advice of the little spoon. Um, but I'm
Well,
much better at advice for others than I am myself. So
I think back in like week 5 or 6, I'd asked you, it was a Bo Nix start or a Josh Allen start, and you said only if you know ball. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
talking about starting Bo Nix, and if I would have, he would have had more points than Josh Allen, and I
yeah.
would have broke the median that week. So, do I know ball? We shall see.
We shall see. No, I think you take this one. I think you take the healthy division lead for good. You take that scepter, um, and I think you know that too. All right, just for craps and giggles here, let's. You got Randy's nuts. I like to cover Randy's team. It's a fun team to cover. The logo is great. The name is fun to say, and he's a two-time former champion, and he's a fun guy to talk to. Randy and we've actually had a few conversations recently, and I realized we both had the same. We both bought the same Mean Joe Green Steelers trading card, and we were talking about it. So there's a connection between the little spoon and the nuts these days. We're both under 500, and we both like old football. So
Gotta love
um,
range.
what's up with the range? Is that like his middle initial, or
Yeah, I don't know. It just happened. I think it just happened one day for him, and he was like, "I'm range," and I was like, "All right, you're range." So
his last name's Higgins. It'd be nice to see him roster both T and Jaden Higgins. That'd be
that would be
that'd be fun to
cool.
see. All right. So, do you see anything here? Because here's the thing. I have a hunch that there's a select few people that don't even watch the podcast. Um, and here we are, week 13, week 14. Should we cover the teams that are kind of almost completely out of it? Or should we kind of flip the script and just talk about the teams that are relevant?
You know what?
I know
I'm
it's my
sure you
podcast,
hate
but
doing as well as I do too.
yeah.
I just is putting time into somebody's team a good breakdown worth it if they don't watch it.
Well,
That's
is there any proof we have that certain people don't watch it?
speculation.
Speculation. So
I think if
reasonable cause.
multiple people have speculations on the same people, I think that's called reasonable cause, like you said.
Yeah, yeah, without a reasonable doubt. Yeah. Hey,
But it's your show, you run it. Let's. I'm good for whatever.
well, I will say, like, and you said it earlier. You said no offense to my team when you're facing. There's no offense taken. There are a few moves that I've made this year that haven't worked out, to say the least. And one of those is Romo Dunze. Romo Dunze, I traded him for Devontae Adams, and I also gave up Woody Marks. Um, I saw him taking a bigger step forward. I didn't think Caleb Williams sucked as bad as he does. And I don't listen, man. This is just a personal rant. I don't give a crap how many good fantasy performances Caleb Williams has. He sucks.
He is a terrible quarterback.
He sucks so bad. And I don't care if he makes a good throw here and there. He mainly overthrows guys. He doesn't pepper his number one guy. You don't know who the receiver is going to be week to week who's getting most of the work. It's if the guy's not wide open, he's not getting hit.
Nope.
There has to be no one in the vicinity for him to complete a pass. Um, but so I really wish I didn't make the Romo Dunze trade. I'm glad I did the DK Metcalf deal. Swift is terrible, and he always fades at the end of the year. So I'm glad to have made that deal.
I love to
Um,
see you keep Kyle monogamy after that deal too. You didn't send him with it. You didn't try to force a deal. You got what you wanted, and you kept the RB1. I think, in my opinion. So
yeah, and I think he
smart
will. I
move.
think And the thing is, man, I'm still playing for that like there's a lot of pride in this league, man. There's a lot of pride in this league. And I will say that's the decision I'll make. We'll still cover some of these teams and matchups just real quick because the consolation bracket, even though I'm a competitor and I don't want to, at the beginning of the year, I'm not playing for the consolation bracket. I'm playing to win it all. But when reality has set in, okay, where am I going to shift my attention, right? And I think if you're in my position, you do the same thing. So my goal is to perform the best that I can throughout the consolation bracket and possibly win that pick at the end. So um, that's why I'm still making deals. Well, I can't make any more now, but that's why I'm still making deals and I'm still trying to stay competitive because there are a few guys on my roster I still like. I still like Travion Henderson. I still like Ryan Thomas Jr., who's probably coming back from injury this year. So I do play Patrick. Patrick has Brees Hall, Javonte Williams this week. Wandale Robinson takes a hit with Jameson out. Um, and Jackson Dart starting, but he does have Vlad McConkey. I do think Patrick takes this one, but what I'm just hoping for is to make the median and hopefully charge hard into that consolation bracket and not give up. So, um,
So, is there a team you would like to play week one of the consolation bracket? Is there preferred?
wow, now these are
Because no one gets a bye. So, if you had to choose, you can't say Randy. Um,
yeah,
outside of
those are
him,
low hanging nuts there.
yeah.
Uh,
If there's another team that you'd say, you know what, I own you, who would that be?
that's a good question. Honestly, just as far as personal vendettas go, um, I would love. I mean, I don't think. Here's the thing. Do you want my question of who do I think I would beat? Because I don't really have that much. I hate to say this as a competitor. I don't have confidence that my team can just throttle anyone's team here at all. But a team I would like to put it on is Cole's team.
There
Um,
we go.
that would be enjoyable for me. Um, I would go to sleep that night with a smile on my face, and I might wake up with that same smile. Um,
I love it.
yeah, I think just the personal vendetta that I do have against Cole. Jake said I had a personal vendetta against Adam. That's incorrect. I do have a personal vendetta against Cole,
It's against
um,
Cole.
and that's fine. Yeah, I'm sure Cole's a great guy, and I'm sure in a personal setting, whenever I saw him for the draft, I had no problems with him. But as far as fantasy football goes, I have a personal vendetta against him because he ignores me, and I feel like a
Yep.
rejected little schoolgirl, and it hurts. It
And no
hurts.
little
So
spoon should feel rejected.
no little spoon should be left behind.
No.
So that would be enjoyable. I don't see me beating Cole's team whatsoever. Cole has a good team, and I think Cole is honestly, all jokes aside, I think Cole is one of those teams that you don't really want to face. You don't want to squeak into the playoffs and have to play the first round because he does have Bucky Irving coming back. He has Nico Collins. He has CeeDee Lamb. He has JMO who can go off at any point.
He has a lot
So
of what if guys.
he does, but James Cook too. So, um, yeah, I just think Cole's one of those guys that you don't want to run into. So I love you, Cole. I don't know you, but I still love you. But I want to beat you, and I will someday, even if it's next year. Um, all right. So you got Cheney facing Zach. I think just because you have Zach starting guys like Mac Hollins, I'm not even going to get into this matchup.
Do
Um,
you think Zach sets his lineup due
he
to
sets his line.
Thanksgiving, due to like
Oh, okay.
Thursday, Friday? So I'm taking the bet on no.
It'd be a bad look if he didn't.
It would be.
In this league, you can't do that. This isn't. We've said it time and time again, but this isn't like that's just not that kind of league where you can forget to do that.
Right.
You have to like. To me, this league is a league. No matter how good you are, no matter how good your record is, you have to be obsessed with this. You have to be checking your lineup on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday. Like
You
over
do.
obsessing about it. Setting auto subs just in case. Like
Right.
stuff like that. Like you have to be like dreaming about it. If you haven't had a fantasy football dream, um, you're doing it wrong. Um,
Yes.
so
Um,
I say it. Is there anything that he needs to set though? Everybody's playing. No,
Higgins.
oh, wait, Higgins. That's right.
and he would
Man, and
have.
it's tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I
That's
bet he
what I'm
does because
saying.
it's a late night game.
All
But then
right,
again,
I
let me
think I
see.
don't.
Yeah, he'll set it. He'll set it.
All right, he'll set it. The only one to
I want
not set his roster so far this year is Cheney, and Jake fixed that for him. So
Gotcha. I do think Cheney watches the podcast. Oh, yeah, Jake shouldn't have done that. Jake shouldn't
no,
have done that. Especially, I mean, especially against him.
right.
Yeah, no, no. Um, but you do have Cheney. Cheney's another team you don't really want to run into. But at 10 and 14, he's just had some bad luck and bad matchups and players that were underperforming at bad times of the year. Cheney's probably fine now, and I bet his players are going to be fine the rest of the year. But I think it's just too little, too late.
I think
Uh,
once you fall below that 14 loss mark, maybe that 13 loss mark, you kind of got to hang your hat where it is. And,
espe-
you know,
especially the fact that you have Garrett and Kyle facing each other this week. Like one of those teams, I mean, they could both go 1-1, and then if that's the case, Cheney has to go 2-0, and it's still not going to make a difference. So it's like
nope.
there's just no hope there, honestly. All right, well, I'm looking at everything, and let's see here. Yeah, I think that covers our bases. I will say, just to throw things out there, I'm going to say Cole beats Randy, and I'm going to say that Cheney beats Zach, just to cover our bases.
Cool.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for spooning with us. Dude, Josh, thanks for jumping on here on such a moment's notice.
Absolutely.
It's I wasn't expecting that for sure. When I first looked at your text, I thought you said no. I just assumed you said no, and then I had to go back and reread it,
Well,
and I was like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I was at work thinking about it. I was like, you know what? Tomorrow's going to suck anyways. I got to be at work at 4 a.m. So I was like, why not spoon tonight, enjoy my night, and then just let tomorrow suck? So that's what I
So
did, and I enjoyed
why
it.
do you have to go to work that early?
So they're forcing all of our managers to be there at 4 a.m. to show support to all of our associates for being there so early on Thanksgiving. So that is what I am having to
That's the
do.
stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Hey, save money, live better, baby. That is,
No, well, that's some like, dude, I was in the army, and that's some like army stuff. Like, hey, we want to thank you
yeah,
guys, but they
it's
would hold a
dumb.
family. They'd hold like a family fun day where you come in on a Saturday with your family, and like nobody wants to do that.
No, it's dumb,
Like,
and they could easily close, like easily close, but nope. We're going to work until 10 a.m. So I'll be there
dang
from
man.
4 to 10. So y'all be thinking about me in your dreams as y'all are snoring
Well,
away,
well, I will be, and I'll enjoy it. I took
as you
Thursday,
should.
Friday off, so
Good for you,
um,
man.
well, see you, man. I'll check you later, and thanks for everybody for the millions of subscribers that tune into this show every single week. And we'll come back at you next week and spoon somebody else. See y'all later.